Hello, one more time. I'm grateful to have you in this new episode. Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic that is necessary for a lot of people to comprehend and understand these very principles that sometimes we disregarded them and it put us in a critical situation because we don't understand the way that we operate, we conduct our life. So today we're going to talk about the 10 Commandments, the commandments of God. Why is so necessary that we understand these commandments? And we're going to base them in the two that Jesus Christ summarized all 10 of them into two. And we're going to explain the reason why Jesus did that, because it's not like majority of people have the way to analyze this in a different way, which saying that Jesus abolished the 10 Commandments and just bring it into two. But today we're going to talk a little bit about it. But before we continue, I want to ask everybody that's watching to, those that haven't subscribed yet, to please do help us to make this channel to go forward, to reach many other people as possible. Share the content. Make a comment if you have. If you have any contribution that you can corroborate and help this, all these points for our better our society and all our people that are suffering, not only physically but also spiritually and mentally. The idea is to bring comfort to people. So by doing these actions of sharing to others, subscribe, hit the bell, and that will help us to pick up a better algorithm to reach other people. Okay, back to the topic. The reason is necessary because, I always bring it to the practical daily living. One of the biggest misunderstanding of our society, our humanity, by disregarding God's commandments, is we bring up into individuals' life confusion and misunderstanding. For example, the biggest driven of our humanity is to, I love somebody. I love this woman, and the guy say, I love this woman. Man says, I love this woman. The woman says, I love this man. And I'm going to try to do the best for this man and this woman to be fulfilled in their pursuing. We disregarding two principles. You are not, when you understand this principle, the implication of Jesus bringing these two commands, 10 commandments into two, is for make us to engage. The principles of these 10 commandments are these two. The first one, they said that in the Exodus and the book of Matthew, Matthew 22, 34 to 40, we're going to find out when it says, one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. It says, teacher, which of these great commandments in the law, which is the greatest commandment in the law? So they, as always, these people, since they thought that they have enough knowledge and education, they thought that they can frame Jesus Christ to see which commandment Jesus choose. And that's when Jesus respond. He said, love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. This is the most important commandment. The second one is likewise. Love your brother as you love yourself. Okay. We're going to pause here. We're going to kind of try to go dive deep into this specific two commandments. We trying to, when you understand that what is love? Who is love? It's God, right? So without you, you're not going to love God. God love you. Let's put things in the right terms. We never love God. God love us. It's because He is love. Okay. If you don't receive and accept God's love, where are you proclaiming your love? Do you are capable to in your own generate love? Really think about this principle. If we don't receive God's love and acknowledge God's love in individual's life, how can you offer love towards somebody else? Think about it. Okay, the reason why it says, the second one is likewise. Love your brother as you love yourself. Okay. If the full understanding of that specific verse is this: you're gonna love your brother because you already knew who you are. You already knew with the massive amount of love that you were created, treat, and being conduct, because you understood the first one, which is you have loved God because you understood the love that He has towards us. That's the very principle why every human, anybody can give their own analysis, their own points of views, and it got to be respectful, not to disrespect someone else the way to, embrace things. But the reality is, when you become truthful to self, you become to understand that you truly become to love God when you uncover the massive amount of love that He has towards you. Okay, because He is love. In other words, He is the source. You become like a particle, like a piece of that source. So when we understand this very principle, that's when I use the term reciprocate. Love goes back to the source. You get what I'm saying? Because I was just talking to my boy the other day, and we were saying how God, the reason why God is eternal is because God doesn't have an end. It continually keep going, It's not ended. It continually going. So when we come to understand that principle, your love is simple reciprocate back to the source. So now you can say, I can love my brother because you're going to implement that very principle. Do you get what I'm saying here? So if you don't did the first part, you cannot do the second part. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you already did this part to comprehend the fountain, the source of love, which is God, you understood how much He has towards you. So what God is looking is to become reciprocate back to Him, because you understood it. Now it's become in the right way that was meant to be. Now you can look at your brother. If you understood that love, this is the reason why you cannot eliminate the law, the Ten Commandments, because most people say, oh, Jesus nailed the law in the cross. No. Please, you need to read cautiously. You need to study before you make such a statement, because it doesn't apply. When you put these two very principles, you find out that by you truly abiding with these two commandments, you fulfilling the other 8 automatically. It's no other way. Because now, like I said, how you can corroborate this is this. Because if you understood the source of love, which is God, the main source, okay, now you got that clear. Where you love merge from. How you end up loving back God, because you understood the massive amount of love that He has towards us, okay. Now we got that in place. Now I can turn around and look to my neighbor. Now I'm going to start to use the same principle towards my neighbor. So if I have this, I understood this massive source of love, and I'm going to implement it with my neighbor, would I be able to lie to my neighbor? Would I be able to steal to my neighbor? Would I be able to envy my neighbor? Do you get how this automatically fulfilling, by applying these two, automatically the other 8 go right in it? So it's illogical to think that Jesus abolished the 10 Commandments. That is not rational. That is not, something that you can say when you understand this principle. So the importance in this episode is for us to understand this very principle, because we professing love towards other people in every form, in every way, without being understanding the first step, without understanding where my love that I'm professing, where it emerged from, where it was birth. You get what I'm saying? So when the passage, the second commandment that Jesus implemented in this answer is not saying you have to be selfish before you love somebody else. No, it's not in that terms that it's talking about. If you love yourself, it's because you know where the love merged from. Do you get what I'm saying? It's because you understand that you are God's creation. It's that you understand that you will think twice, 3, 4 times, whatever, as many times that can be possible, to don't violate this creation that God created. Because you understood in what terms He formed every one of us. He created every one of us. So the main source of our existence is love. But our mind have been corrupted. We've been implementing our own theories, our own conclusions, our own perceptions, our own desires. Do you get what I'm saying? This is the reason why humanity it can find truth because we are driven by our own conclusions, our own desires. We don't go to the fountain, to the source. Lord, help me over here that I'm about to take a very important decision. Enlighten me. What should I do before I make this step forward? So you go to the source, because the source will never give you the wrong advice to go for it. Always the right source is going to give you the right thing to do in whatever you're about to. So when you really give it a thought to all these things, you say, how could I love anybody when I haven't learned how to love myself? I haven't put enough effort to understood who am I? Who am I? What do I need to put, in order for me to go forward to my neighbor, to the next person that I'm going to spread and share love with? So it's very important that, that this principle, and this is when you understand truthfully, God laws is has nothing to do but imposition. And this is the big mistake that the enemy has accomplished to put in every human mind. People thinking that, God's laws, commandments are nothing but restrictions and rules. No, it's pure love. It's pure care. It's pure preservation, pure, guidance. It has nothing to do with imposition. Because when you understand goodness, you erase all these wrong thoughts that comes to that the world have put in us, in our mind. So this is the wonderful knowing something. That's why I tell people, don't speculate things. Search, read, find answers that make sense to your questions. Don't go by what he or she said. That's why I tell you, when I get sent to bring you a message, your part is to search whether the proposition that I have been sending to deliver is something that has backbone, it has a foundation, it has what I call absolute, it has what is called fundamental. Because everybody driven in this world by subjectives. And that's why everybody is confused. Life is not confused. When we take the initiative to know something, we understand what is called self-control, awareness, stillness. This is the reason why God, enables joy, peace, patience. All these things, that the hardest thing that I see in the humanity, that nobody has patience of any kind. So it's very complex, and this is the reason why when we're trying to take time to enlighten somebody's mind, God is trying to help you see things in a different way. It's always a way. That's the only way we can eliminate anxiety, stress, depression, insomnia, all these things, fear. We will release when we understand all these very principles. It's not about trying to drive our life by whatever the world proposed to us. Oh no, if you do this, you will be. God is the source. Find what love means. What's the meaning of love? You know, when we understand and we get to the core, you know, because we have the thing that, you know, we think that people, and this is what is hurting our humanity, that we going around judging and condemning people for their actions without even stop thinking, did this person really do what he or she did by being evil, being mean, or that person did it by pure ignorance? Majority of people actions are pure ignorance. It's not that it's a desire of this desire. No, it's called lack of understanding. And they think that the direct execution they do commit is because, you know, it will bring them a comfort and release. You know, they think of vengeance is the way out. Oh no, if this guy did this, I got to do a double. I got to harm more than what he tried or she tried. So what you end up is you falling in the trap. You become contaminated. So you begin to drink in the poison and hoping that the other person will die. Literally, literally, that's what we do. And that's the mindset that the world runs on, you know, because we don't understand that love doesn't have a room for all those things. Hatred, vengeance, love doesn't have a room for that. If you want to prove, just go to the cross. Just go to the cross, you know, and see what was the last word of Jesus. Father, forgive them. Why? He didn't say because they are. He didn't say because they're evil, because they're mean, because they this. He said they not know what they're doing. What that implies? Ignorance. Do you get what I mean? Do you see what that means? So don't look at the negativity of other person only with one loop. You got to look at it. You got to see how Jesus Christ at the last minute in that cross, he didn't condemn them. He just says, Father, forgiveness. Forgive them because they not know what they're doing. You see that? He understood the massive amount of ignorance in those people. Do you get what I'm saying? And this is what we need to understand. But in order for him to do that, is because he is the source of love. He see them beside whatever they were doing. He see them with compassion, with love. You know, and that's the reason why he died, for us to obtain that forgiveness. It's wonderful when we understand what a true love is. But until you don't learn how to love yourself. And when I say love yourself, it's not only in one simple thing. You got to love, you got to respect yourself. You gotta take care of yourself, because you acknowledge who you are in God's eyes. So you become to make the requirement that takes to be what God created to be. Do you get what I'm saying? Because when we don't get this type of acknowledgement, we're always gonna go by self. No, this is what I want. This is how I think. This is how I see things. This is the way it needs to be. So we already determined everything. Do you get what I'm saying? So that is not loving yourself. That is obtaining what the world have put in us to go by that. But God's love is totally different. So this is why God has sent this principle. Read that book of Matthew 22:34. If you want to complement, go to Exodus 20, all the way down to the 17, 18 verse. When you see with details what each command means, then you can come back to the Matthew and you can see how Jesus combined it into two. There's no such thing of elimination. Please don't get confused. Jesus never abolished the 10 Commandments. The Word of God says, heaven and earth will pass, but my word remain forever. That's what the Bible, the Word of God says. I'm not the one making that up. That's what the Word of God says. So who am I to come and say, oh no, Jesus abolished the law, the 10 Commandments? No. You're playing the wrong role. Please don't do that, because that's not what His Word says. That's why we need to study. We need to comprehend. In order to truly learn how to love God first, love ourselves second, and pass on that love to the brother. Do you get that principle? Comes from here, God to us, goes back to God, until this cycle doesn't get done properly, we can go in the other direction. Please get this. Oh, you can do it. I mean, you have what is called free will. I'm not saying that you cannot. I'm saying do it in the proper way. That's different. So if you have understanding this way, God, us, back to God, now I know who I am. I know where I emerged from. I know who my Creator is, and I know how much He loves me. Now I can implement the very principle towards my brothers, towards my neighbors. Do you see that, what I mean? So if you try to do this one first, will you think you'll be able to do it properly? No, none of us can. Please get this. None of us will be able to ever do it. You got to do this one first. Reciprocate God's love, because He is the fountain. He is love. So if I haven't gone to the source, would I be able to be equipped to go to my neighbor? Something to take it to heart and to your mind. Please get this. Very important. I hope that this very principle make us to wake up and say, man, that makes sense. So which means I've been offering something that I never had. That's what every human is doing. Trying to offer something that they don't have. You get what I'm saying? Makes a perfect sense. But when you obtain it from the fountain, then you'll be able to give. It's just a principle. We can dodge it. We can avoid it. It had to have that in order to do it properly. Please get this. My Lord bless everyone, and please, put your heart to this, because this is very important. Something God is trying to do in your life. I don't think that this is coincidence that this specific episode has come to you. God always has meaning and purpose for every one of us. Maybe something that you needed to understood by this principle. And I'm glad that God have brought me to you to hear this. Not because I am, because He is. Okay, please, do you hear what I just said, right? Not because I am, it's because He is. That's That's the real proper way to put it. Okay? And share this content to others. That way other people can have this opportunity, It's a lot of suffering, confusion in the world. We all need to put the little grain of sand to make life better to everybody else. That's the whole point of God, to become one. Now we understand, right? When Jesus said, Father, I want them to become one like you and I. Do you see the principle? This is not coincidence. This is God's purpose. That's what He wished to see in all of us. One. Throw away all these perceptions, all these differences. Love everybody the same intensity that you love your immediate family. We all one. My Lord bless everyone. Please subscribe, share, and like this if He is subscribed. And until next, Why Journey. God bless you.